all starting out not knowing much about what we were doing with some trepidation. Anyhow, we were invited there, and we met in a gymnasium, an audience about like this, and they had 3 easy chairs for us, and everybody else sat on folding chairs or pillows or bean bags. It was a very interesting situation, kind of post-hippie, I thought. And the lights were on us just as they are here. The only thing was that the lights weren't on the gym, so we couldn't see anybody. We could hear these voices. And someone asking me about Bible authority and so on, and I was saying you need to be more biblical and not less, and so on and so on. But anyway, the point I want to make is that somebody suddenly said, "Who killed Jesus?" like that, without any context or explanation. And I was getting ready to speak about it, so I took a breath. And you may have noticed tonight that I start speaking slowly. I get going. So I was, pausing. And as I paused, Mustel Bialy started reciting the Quran, that section in Surah 4 that states that Jesus was not crucified. The Jews did not crucify him, that it appeared so, but God has taken him to himself. And he recited this in Arabic, followed immediately by the English translation of it, and then immediately, all this is happening within about a minute and a half, he reached across in front of me, which is not exactly a gracious gesture, but anyway, he did, and he grabbed the rabbi's hand and started shaking it, and he said, "See, you didn't do it, you didn't do it." Now, the audience, just like you, didn't know what to make of it. Some of them laughed, and some of them were very still, and some were a little embarrassed, and it was an awkward moment, but it was a very profound moment, because that part of the Quran cuts at the very heart of Christianity. At the same time, it undercuts a history of contempt of the Jews. So I have to, in all candor, bring that up and let you know that it was an amazing experience that night. And I think that the Apostle Paul is the one who said that the Gentile Christians should not think of themselves as superior to the ancient root, and that's Israel.
Let's take some questions.
Okay, I think what we're going to do at this time is move to the question and answer session. And again, I'll remind our audience that please be professional, courteous, and polite to our speakers here tonight. Keep your questions concise, brief, and clear. If you have a comment, make it brief. I will time you 1 minute. And I will not hesitate to interrupt you. And please make this experience a learning and educational opportunity. And I was also given an announcement to thank Dr. Mahmoud Wajdi. Is he here tonight? Yes. Right here. Let's give him a round of applause. He is the MSA. He is the MSA advisor here for the organization, and they applaud and thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you.
And at this time, I have a lot of questions here, but we will also be taking questions from there. But I will start it off by one question that was given to all the speakers. It reads, why is there such a strong discrepancy in the interpretation of Jesus by Christians and Jews and Muslims, and what are the sources to back up each interpretation?
Well, you want me to go on that? I'll start then. I think one point that my esteemed colleague Dr. Gross was making, and that Muzammil also touched on, is this picture of the Quran saying that he was not crucified. You did not crucify him. I may sometimes misquote because I'm quoting from memory here, so don't hold me if I add an adjective here. I'm trying to get the spirit of the passage. From earlier texts, we have Gnostic texts now, which are Egyptian Christian texts from the 3rd and 4th century. And we know that there is a Gnostic gospel that says Jesus was not crucified and laughed at his own death. Muzammil also spoke about the birds from clay episode. I think my student here in the room, Ron, you found that in one of the apocryphal Gospels, didn't you? What was that from?
Infancy Gospel of Thomas.
Infancy Gospel of Thomas. And then there's another passage in the Quran. When you do the historical roots of things, it gets very interesting. There's another passage in the Quran that Muzammil quoted about, well, it goes something like this, that if God wished to have a son, he could have, but he didn't. This is in Surah 2, the cow. He didn't. He could have, because it's not beyond his power to do such thing, but he didn't. And then later on, all through the Quran, Jesus is called Son of Mary, meaning that he is the second man who didn't have a father. That is, Joseph wasn't his father, God wasn't his father, he is only Son of Mary. The first man that didn't have a father was who? Adam. And Adam didn't have a mother either. He didn't have a mother or a father. Jesus is the second Adam in Paul, the person who comes along and doesn't have a father, only a mother. But I might tell you here, Augustine had that position earlier. That's a position out of Augustine where he says Jesus is Son of Mary. So in answer to that question, there's so much you could say. But I was saying that one of the things is that none of this is certain, and one tradition floats into the other. And that's why, I mean, I haven't answered the whole question. There are so many different traditions about